Hello and welcome back to Space Haven, brought to you by Commando Gaming and Battletech Battles, and also streaming on twitch.tv at Commando Gaming 1. If you're watching this on YouTube, please check out our stream channel on twitch.tv, Commando Gaming 1, and check out an opportunity to watch us play live. So, we're picking up Space Haven right from the last video / stream. So just to give everybody an update, we're getting salvage from this derelict over here, this derelict over here, and we have a trade partner right here. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. Just to give everybody a update. So let's speed up time a little bit here. We've got salvage going on multiple ships. We've got a trade going through. Let me double check and see if there's anything else trade-wise we want to do with this ship that's like come into town. I think we can get some more infra blocks. Can never have too many of those. Question is, what do we have to trade that they want? Unfortunately, they don't want a lot of what we have. Yeah, we're going to cancel. But I'd like to make that trade, but not at that price. I could get us some water. Let's do water. As long as they're here and they have a resource we can use for a relatively cheap price. Let's get some water. We can actually get that just by trading some fiber. 10 water for 4 fiber. That's a deal I can live with. So we're still in the process of salvaging from those 2 derelicts. Got to watch that a little carefully because we got an incoming ship next turn. We got to watch the salvage operations very carefully on the 2nd derelict because there's no airlock there. And sometimes our crew gets itself in trouble by not getting sufficient oxygen. As you can see, our crew's working here, so we got to just watch Lilia here and make sure she's consistently getting herself oxygen. There we go. All right, looks like the computer algorithm is working okay. There's still stuff we can take out of this ship as well. So we got plenty of things to do in this system. All right, so we have the Android Coalition. They've come in. They want to do some trading. Whenever you have a new ship come in, it's always great to just do a trade with them. Really recommend it. A little hard with the Alien Federation though, because they are the Android Coalition, because they don't need food, and that's really what I do most of my trading with. So let's see, we can actually do 1 hyperfuel. And they will take 1 fiber. Okay. So it's a good way to get resources. It's also a good way if a ship is willing to trade with you, especially if they have a pending trade, they're not going to attack you. So that's definitely a benefit. Alright, one thing I can do is we can expedite salvage on this one ship that I know has an airlock, because it'll be safer for my crew. We're going to have to do both ships, but I would like to do both ships in a safe manner. Having two shuttles is really a big benefit early on in the game, because the shuttles will do trades automatically. You don't have to have a crew member involved. It'll also speed up your salvage operations substantially. So can't emphasize that enough. In fact, another thing we should do, actually, there's a couple of things we should do. One thing I'd like to do is do another airlock. A couple more airlocks. So we're going to do an airlock on the other side of the ship. It gives you more flexibility. Of course, I can't do it there. Do it. Okay, I could do it here. It's an odd place for an airlock. It's going to be there just temporarily. But what I want to do really is move this airlock to some place so we can have dual airlocks right next to each other. It's much more efficient. But it won't let you move your established airlock until you have a second airlock. So it's going to be just placed there temporarily, and then we can move it. You'll see once I'm done. Also would like to move this hull stabilizer. But I can't do that till I expand the hull, so. Alright, I want to welcome everybody that's joining us on the stream today. Please feel free to put any questions or comments in the chat bar at twitch.tv, Commando Gaming 1. We're still processing these two derelicts that we're in the process of dismantling, as well as building some improvements to our ship. Right, Mikey, get oxygen. Mikey, get oxygen. All right, thank you. As I said, sometimes you have to keep an eye on the AI, because they will let themselves have issues when it comes to oxygen. So something that's a definite concern is making sure that you don't end up with oxygen problems with your crew. I want to thank everybody who joined us this morning for Space Haven. Feel free to answer any questions. Ask any questions that you have, or any insights that you might have in this game, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. We'd like to make this an interactive stream. We're in the process of salvaging two derelicts and also upgrading our ships. We're early on in the game. We've only jumped 3 times. So we're still improving our game, our ship, and building the basics. So welcome to the stream. You can catch previous editions of this Space Haven playthrough by going to our YouTube, which is Commando Gaming, or checking out previous streams that are recorded on twitch.tv, Commando Gaming 1. Alright, logistics is becoming overwhelmed. Very common when you're doing salvage. You just kind of have to deal with it. Mikey's doing some important work there. So as you can see, we have a day shift and a night shift. Our night shift has 3 crew members because we picked up an additional crew member, and our day shift has 4. So I'd love to get an additional crew member so we can have a full 8 and 8 or 4 and 4 schedule. So it would be much more efficient. Let's see what's going on. All right, we still got salvage to do on that ship over there. And we still have salvage to do. As you can see, salvage is going on at this other ship over here. This is a really fun early access game. You can see our shuttles going back and forth, picking up salvage. Really critical that you have a second shuttle as early as possible in this game. It's a really inexpensive way to speed up your production, especially when it comes to salvage and trades, if you have that second shuttle going back and forth, because the shuttles don't require a crew member. They're automatic. So I don't know if that'll change once we have the full version of the game. I don't think it will, though, because you don't have enough crew members to have a dedicated crew member to control one of your shuttles. Once again, thanks to everybody for joining the game. We're cleaning up some salvage on 2 derelicts right now, so that's why we're not jumping or doing anything significant. We're just working through some salvage on this game. As you can see, we have a pretty extensive growth food production here, and I've found that food production is by far the most efficient trade resource you can have in the game. So I really can't emphasize enough that you should try to expand your greenhouse as much as you can, because it's really a great resource to push all of your trades to the maximum and still make sure that you are trading a resource that you can replace quickly. All right. Let's see how the salvage is going down here. It's kind of satisfying just to watch salvage take place. If you haven't seen this before, basically our crew is deconstructing this derelict right here, taking it literally apart piece by piece, trying to get as much salvage as possible. If anybody has any questions about this game, feel free to put them in the twitch.tv stream chat. Be happy to answer any questions. Last couple streams we had some very good questions. I should be able to answer most of them. I've played through pretty extensively about 3 times at this point. The reason I keep restarting is they're doing a great job in this early access of providing updates as they develop the game, which makes significant changes to the game, and sometimes you have to restart. But each time you restart, you end up getting much better at the game, so it's really not a negative at all, in my opinion. This is a fun game if you want something. It's kind of like Faster Than Light and RimWorld combined. There's lots of components of both of those games in this game. So it's very enjoyable. If you want a You could consider it a space simulation game. You could consider it a puzzle game because you're trying to come up with cool strategies. There's lots of different facets of this game. It's very enjoyable. You can get it on early access from Steam. And we're just going to watch our crew continue to take this ship apart. And they should be working on the other ship. No, they're not working on the other ship yet either. It could be they're just focused on this ship right now, and then the AI is gonna go to the other ship because there's still lots of stuff to salvage from both ships. Plus, our crew has to keep up with the logistics from all that salvage. As you can see right here, stuff is brought over from the other ships, and crew members are brought over to the other ships from this airlock. And then the shuttles go back and forth, bringing the resources back. If we go to the larger view, these large boxes here are the shuttles that are going back and forth, taking resources back. The green blobs here are your crew members going through their workday. Alright, so hopefully we'll finish this salvage so we can do a jump before too long. There's really good salvage here between these two ships, so I don't want to feel like we have to rush through it. Plus, we've got plenty of building we need to do as well. One of the things I really recommend after you've played this game a couple times is take your time to build out your ship and not feel like you have to rush through the game by jumping from place to place. You want to make sure you get every bit of resource. You want to make sure that you maximize the strength of your ship, especially with things like your growth beds, as I indicated. Eventually you want to build up your defenses as well. So definitely you want to highlight those. We got an incoming ship right here. It'll be coming in 7 hours. Once it comes in, we'll be able to trade with it. Really big benefit to your crew to actively trade with ships as they come into your sector. Not only does it give you the ability to get some resources inexpensively if you can manage the trades correctly, but if somebody's trading with you, they're not going to be attacking you. So I definitely emphasize that. All right, we got some production warning signs here. Insufficient available resources. Okay, we are out of power resources. So hopefully this ship is going to have some power for us, or we might have a problem here. Because we are out of energy rods. That is a problem. We do have our power cells. That will buy us a little bit of time. Now we can also get our recycler going. We can take this energy scrap and produce this continuously. We can make that a priority by assigning it to a crew member, except all of our crew members are out doing salvage. So what we can do here is we can unprioritize our salvage. There. That'll eventually give us a couple crew members back on the ship, and we can produce some energy. Hopefully this ship that's coming in has some energy rods for us, or we might be in a pickle. We might be low on power, which is very bad. Come on. All right. We really need some resources that are going to give us power. That is not going to help us. So we need to assign energy scraps. We're going to have Caitlin here building energy scraps. That's going to be her primary job, building us energy scraps. We are running low on power right now. definitely an item of concern. We do have our batteries. That'll buy us a little bit of time. Not much though. So another thing we can do is we could just bite the bullet and do a jump. We can come back to this system later and do our salvage. So let's go ahead and do that. So as soon as you get everything ready for a hyper jump, all your crew members will come back. See, the shuttle's going hopefully to get our last crew member. We definitely want to jump here to a system that has energy for us. Even if we have to come back and finish this salvage later, that's not that big of a deal. I want to again thank everybody who's joining the stream today. If anybody wants to ask any questions about the game, that would be great. We're going, all right, there's our last crew member. So now our ship has to dock. Why aren't you docking? Are you going back for salvage? I don't need you to go back for salvage. I need you to dock. All right. Give it another minute to dock that shuttle so we can leave. We don't want to leave a shuttle behind because that's a very valuable resource. So come on, shuttle. Okay. All right, shuttle's docked. You want to check here before you jump. You have all of your crew members, you have all of your vehicles, and we can only jump 2 in this jump because we're over our weight. We need an additional hyperspace module, but hopefully we can find the resources we need. All right, so we know that isn't going to give us the resources, so we're going to jump here. We're going to jump here. We're going to drop out of hyperspace because we're out of jump fuel. We can jump one more time. Jump. We're going to deploy here, but we're just going to quickly prepare for another hyper jump. Come on. Get ready for a hyper jump. We need one of our crew members to go to navigation. Okay. All right. Now we go. We're going to immediately do this jump here. We're going to go to this system here that has the resources we need. We're going to drop. We're going to go as close as possible to that energy, which is what we need most of all. There's also some other resources here, so that's not bad, but we need to mine this energium much as possible. That's got to be our priority. So what we can do is make sure we have enough people whose priority is mining, which we do there, that they should jump in and mine pretty quickly. We're trying to scrape out a little energy while we wait for mining to process. And while that's going on, we need to prioritize our industry to make sure that we're making those energy rods at the highest priority. So when those energon cubes come in, we'll start processing power quickly because we are running on fumes here. Not unusual in this game to be in positions where you're running out of a critical resource. It's a big part of the game, actually. Anybody who's played Faster Than Light, you'll see this as well in your playthroughs. Right, so they're taking the raw energy over to our refinery as quickly as possible because they know that that's a priority right now to make sure that we have energy. Because if you run out of energy, you're going to run out of oxygen, you're going to run out of food. I would say energy is probably the #1 resource in this game. Obviously, water and food and air are important as well, but you need power to give yourself water and energy, or water and food and oxygen. So I would argue that energy is definitely probably your most important resource. So we should get to the point fairly soon that we get some energy rods. There's one that was produced. So what we need to do is we kind of need to surge the production of energy rods. So what we do is we just keep assigning someone to do it until we have multiple energy rods available. Okay. Keep putting those energy rods in. Now let's explain how the energy works. So they need 0.02 crystals to produce 1 energy rod. So 5 crystals will produce us 20 energy rods. No, 10 energy rods. So that doesn't get us a lot of power. This is kind of a stopgap measure. But we have to prioritize getting our energy under control right now. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to highlight. We're going to give the job to someone. How about Beck here, since he's taking a coffee break? I didn't authorize any coffee breaks. Do they not realize that we have no energy right now? Why are they taking a coffee break? Very irresponsible. All right, so energy rods are being made as a priority at the refinery. We're also making energy rods here in the recycler. As you can see, the energy scrap makes 0.02. So it's a very inefficient way to make energy rods, but at least you have 2 ways to make energy rods. So if there's a significant problem, you can kind of address it that way. All right, so our red squad right now is in the process of resting. When they recover, and that's one thing I really figured out early on in this game, when you have a boarding party which is armed to go capture derelicts, you want to make sure that they're in an easily identifiable uniform. So harkening back to science fiction, I'm having my security team, boarding team, all in red shirts. So it's a really good way. And you want your boarding party to also all be on the same sleep and work schedule. Very important. Because you have to make sure that if you're sending a boarding party over to a ship, that they're well rested. Otherwise, they will literally pass out on you while they're battling aliens. I've had that happen before. All right, so let's make sure we're producing energy. Energy is the #1 thing we need right now. All right, there we go. There's another energy rod being produced. Let's immediately assign Jenna to build some more energy rods. All right, energy. Now the other way we can get energy, of course, is to go ahead and board the derelict and see what resources it has. So let's draft our boarding party. We're going to have to do this fast because that's taking a lot of resources away from producing energy rods. So it's kind of a catch-22, but we need resources. So put everybody in the shuttle. Make sure, again, I have to say this every time, when you draft your crew to get into the shuttle, make sure you put them in the spacesuits before they get onto the shuttle. You would think that they would know, hey, we're going into a spaceship, maybe we should put on our spacesuits. But no, it's a problem. All right, so we're going to send our crew members over. As you can see, they're going over to the derelict here. Let's engage some aliens and capture this ship. I'm assuming there's aliens on this ship. It's usually about 80% of the time that when you capture a ship, there's aliens on it. So I always assume that there's aliens on this ship that we're going to have to fight. So all right. And the aliens do get harder the farther you get into the game. Right now, they're pretty manageable. All right, let's do this fast. Oh, we got some resources here to pick up. Data logs, some credits. Okay, decent amount of credits there. Another thing you want to do, it's a little tedious when you're going through the ship, make sure that you're getting oxygen, because even if your crew's running low on oxygen, if they start fighting aliens, they get very concerned and panic, and you don't want that when they're fighting aliens. I don't think we're going to see aliens here. Usually we would see some aliens by now. So this is actually a really big ship. If it doesn't have any aliens on it, we might be able to get some crew members, which would be really nice. I don't see any hyperpods. You can find new crew members by finding hyperpods, which are used for long distance travel, that have people inside them. That's how we got Lilia here, because she was in a pod on the first derelict that we searched. All right, so we're definitely not going to see any aliens here. I would be shocked, which means we can be a little bit more aggressive about exploring the ship here. All right, so we captured the ship here. Now, let's look at what goodies we have on this ship. We've got an energy rod 1. That doesn't really help us very much. So we're going to select all these, send them back to the ship. We've done all the mining that's going to help us immediately. So let's actually prioritize salvage here. So we're going to highlight everything we want to get from this derelict. We're going to expedite it. And then what you want to do when you expedite it is you need to undraft your crew, undraft, and then undraft your shuttle. So then your crew will do what you tell them to do. And that is going to be the priority, in addition to creating energy rods, because we're short on energy rods again. Always short. When you get behind the energy curve in this game, that's where things get problematic. So I'm just going to have to keep telling the crew that's available to constantly produce energy rods. We only have 4 energy rods left. So we're going to have to either, let's see, we're still building, we can still build energy rods from energy scrap as it comes on board, but that's very inefficient. So hopefully either a ship will come by that's selling energy rods, or we're going to have to travel to get more energy. Being behind the energy curve sucks. It's the worst thing. One bad thing is you can't assign anybody to a job who's sleeping. And all of our shift is currently sleeping right now. Now again, we do have batteries here, so we have a little bit of an energy reserve, but not that much. Alright, you guys. Alright, so now that you guys have gotten done with your beauty sleep, get me energy rods, please. I think the person I assigned to make energy rods just went on a shuttle to do salvage. That is unfortunate. Alright, somebody figure out that we need to make energy rods, please. It's very important. Making energy rods? Can you make some energy rods? Alright, let's make sure our recycler is still producing energy. We need some energy scrap to make energy rods in the recycler, so we're on hold there. Alright. Maybe you guys should make energy instead of eating. That would be helpful. Oh man, there's sometimes the AI on this game is kind of an imperfect science. People are making water, people are making everything except what I want them to make. I've made this the highest level of priority, and yet they're sleeping. They don't seem very interested in doing what they need to do. Now what I can do is I can unexpedite this salvage, which will make them more inclined to kind of balance their work between building us energy rods and salvage. Another thing I can do is start working on mining this resource here. Hopefully that will be like a secondary job, like a third level of importance job. But we definitely need energy rods produced. Still, so somebody has the job that's not doing the job, which means I can't give the job to anybody else. All right, there. Beck finally made some energy rods. So what I can do now is I can assign this to Beck again. And Beck will go back and make energy rods. And then we can wait until it's another job, and then we can... I wish I could just assign somebody permanently to this role, but you don't have that ability. Alright, so now we're up to 3 energy rods. I'm feeling a little more comfortable that we're up to 3 energy rods now. So let's do, I'd like to do this one more time to make sure we have sufficient energy rods. Because as soon as we build them, we're going to need them because we've got 3 generators producing energy. So it's kind of a never-ending circle. All right, so what's going on? Let's see how much salvage we've got left on this ship. So there's lots of salvage left on this ship. So, all right, now that our energy rods are a little better, we can actually go back, reprioritize this salvage. And let's let you watch how this works from the big picture here. So our shuttle goes over, drops off our crew. As you can see, there's 4 crew members now because it's a priority. And what I want to do is quickly get as much stuff off that ship as we can, because we're going to have to travel soon to get more energy. Alright, so our crew members are working on stripping the ship as much as possible. Gork Wobbler says you can also build solar panels. Yes, you can build solar panels. Absolutely. The problem I have is the energy panels are very inefficient. They only generate 3 energy, and they take up a lot of space and resources. I have not found that solar panels are an efficient energy resource. It's kind of like an emergency resource if you can't build anything else, in my opinion. So Gork Wobbler, do you find that solar panels are a viable energy source? Because I don't find them very efficient. I'd love to hear some feedback on that. So yes, there is the ability to build energy solar panels, but it's very inefficient as far as how much power that it generates. It's kind of like a stopgap measure, in my opinion. I haven't seen it be an effective way. Gork Wobbler says, I don't use them much in the early game. So maybe in the later game, it might be a viable option. That's really good input. So let's watch this salvage take place. It's really satisfying just to watch your crew go about salvaging a derelict, especially when you have it as expedited. All right. Oh, okay. So Gork Gobbler says when he built his second ship, he built it entirely from solar. So that's a little bit of a spoiler. Yes, we do have the ability to build additional ships or claim additional ships. And he also says that the solar panels can save you when you have a crystal shortage. That's absolutely true. No question. And I would argue we might, I might not be the worst thing if I put a couple solar panels on our ship temporarily, because we are a little short of resources. So I do have the ability to build a couple of these right now, and just as a short-term power solution. We could do that. I might do that just as a temporary solution to just get us through this slight hump in power consumption. That's actually a really good suggestion. So we're going to build 2 solar panels. We can always deconstruct them later on. So we'll make that a priority. That will stretch out our energy supply a little bit longer. So really good a tip from Gork Wobbler there. you know, normally I wouldn't build solar cells, solar panels here, but in this situation, it might not be the worst idea, just temporarily. All right. Now, as for shuttles, shuttles are a key on figuring out when your salvage is done, because once they dock, then you know that you're done with all of your salvage operations. All right. So our shuttles are going back and forth. Salvage is still continuing. Let's see, how are we doing on energy crystals? Yeah, we're running low on energy crystals. So, you know, building those solar panels might have been a really good suggestion, at least temporarily. One thing I do like about this game is if you deconstruct something, you don't lose resources as part of the transaction. You get the same amount back as you put into a construction. In most games like this, if you deconstruct something, you probably get half of the resources back. So I actually like the fact that it gives you more flexibility. You don't have to feel that if you build something that you're gonna lose the resources forever. Oh, we got a fire. Somebody overcooked something in the microwave. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is a big problem. Big problem. Fire is out of control. So let's make sure that our salvage is not expedited. And get these people putting out this fire. Draft. Come on, Mickey. So we're going to highlight Mickey. Draft. Put out that fire. Jenna. Alright, everybody's putting on their spacesuits, so they're gonna go in, they're gonna put out this fire, hopefully very quickly, because fire is a big problem here. Oh boy, everything's getting burned. Alright, can you guys put out the fire, please? Okay, put out the fire. Oh boy. Alright, so that's a big problem. So now we need to clear out all of that smoke in our living quarters. Okay, so we can... That is a big problem. Like, we didn't have enough problems right now. We're going to have smoke throughout the ship until we clear out all this smoke. Let me kind of illustrate the problem. So if we turn on our smoke indicator, hazardous smoke, our whole ship is, except for our oxygen area. Oh, seal the door vents. Okay, that's a good idea. I think we might be too late for that, but let's see if that helps. All right, come on. All right, so yeah, so that actually did help. Really good suggestion. Gorp Wobbler is, all right, so now our it looks like our, all right, so the smoke went away, so we actually don't need to build this anymore. Now what we should be able to do now is we should be able to open the vent again, and we should be okay. All right. All right, that that was frustrating. I actually did have a fire get out of control to the point that it actually did destroy my whole ship because I only had one crew member on the ship and everybody else was doing salvage. All right, so we're setting up our solar temporarily just to give us a little bit more power. We'll just extend our power issues or extend our power for a little while there. Gork Wobbler, I think you should be doing some videos on this game. You've got some really good insights on what we can do. So there, fire problem was addressed. Let's hook up our solar here. That'll give us a little bit more energy. It'll slow down our consumption of energy from the generator. So that will buy us a little time. Let's see how we're doing on salvage here. So what do we have left? Nothing to transfer. Yeah, we still have some salvage left. So let's expedite this. Now that the fires are out, everybody will go back and finish salvaging this derelict here. Okay. Want to get all the resources we can out of this ship. But at the same time, we got to keep an eye on that energy resource because we are running low on energy. We've got the ability to produce another 10 energy rods, and then we're going to be running on empty. So we got to watch that. All right, looks like we still have hull scraps available on that ship, so we don't want to just leave yet. Actually, I've got plenty of hull scrap right now. I would argue that we don't need the hull scrap. So let's unexpedite this salvage. If we get some, we get some. But I would like to make sure that we get all of this base metal resource, which is super valuable. Okay. All right, why aren't you guys going mining? You guys should go. Okay. Is the mining ship? All right. So we're getting the hull scraps right now. And then after that, we should be able to do our mining. So I would, our energy reserves are getting low. Let's make sure we're making some rods as well. Okay, we're making energy rods. All right, we should be okay. All right, storage. We need some more storage. It's a good problem to have, right? So let's build another storage facility. Question is, challenge is we're kind of running out of room for storage. All right, where can I shoehorn this? That's going to be efficient. All right, I can put it there for now. We're going to use some of the resources we don't have room for to build storage for the other resources. So that kind of works out. Okay. All right. Would like to see them do our mining. Okay, so I think that ship went off to do our mining. Yes. Okay. So we're doing our mining now. because we need to travel, because energy is definitely getting light. Okay, we're almost done mining. Almost done mining. Anybody has any more questions or comments, put them in the chat room. Either I or Gork Wobbler, who is very knowledgeable in this game, perhaps he's the developer, can give you some answers. So that would be great if you could put some commentary in the chat room. We're going to go for probably 5 more minutes. We're just doing a short stream here before we have to pay the bills. If you're enjoying this series, please follow our channel. That would be excellent. And we're trying to do at least one stream a day on this game. And I'm not playing it outside of streams. Gork Wobbler says, no, I'm just a player. You could have fooled me. You might have missed your calling. Maybe development is in your future, Gork Wobbler. Would love it if you would follow our channel and join us for future streams of this game. I can definitely use some insights. Alright, so we're done with our mining. So we can actually just maybe get the last bit of salvage off that ship, which I think we just did. So there's no reason to keep ourselves here, so let's go ahead and jump. And continue our adventures through the universe. Alright, again, you got to make sure all of your crew members are on board before you jump. By looking at this information right here. We can only jump one hyperspace jump. Alright, so we need to generate some hyperfuel as well. Alright, so we're going to take a little break from producing energy rods because we need some more hyperfuel. So we're going to let that happen. Alright, so we're ready to jump. Where can we jump? Oop, zoomed out too far. Where can we jump where we might be able to get the resources that we need? Alright, I can jump to this derelict here. Out of hyperfuel. Okay, so we're going to drop to this derelict right here. Alright, so we're going to drop here. Now we can get fuel by salvaging this ship. We're also producing fuel by... No, we're actually out of energy scrap. So on that note, we're actually going to end this stream for today. We'll be back again soon for another edition of Space Haven. Please follow our channel. And as I said, we're committed to only doing this game on stream. So if you're interested in watching this progress, please feel free to follow and you'll get an alert when we specifically play this game. So we'll see you soon. Hope you enjoyed the stream if you're watching this on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the video. And please check us out on twitch.tv, Commando Gaming 1, if you're watching this on YouTube. And we'll see you soon.